It's working now. It wasn't working a second ago. My internet was being stupid. And I unfortunately lost a subscriber. I don't know when that happened, but it is what it is. If they don't want to hear God's word, they're missing out. So, anyway, so today for the daily devotional, I read Numbers 9, Numbers 10, John 5, 1 through 18, and Psalms 27. And I can't wait to talk about it. I'm really pumped. So I'm going to start with Numbers a little bit. I didn't really get much out of Numbers, but something I thought was super cool was the cloud above the tabernacle. I thought that was super cool because that was like a telltale sign of God. It's just like God, there. Because these are the people that previously were doubting God, way back in Exodus, they were doubting God. They're doubting that God was doing good things. And so the fact that they were literally seeing, I think this lighting might be a little bit too bright. I'm gonna adjust. Okay, that's better. I didn't want to get washed out because I don't know. Just because, I'm reading about God, I feel like I still think the lighting should be good. So you're not looking at a ghost and you don't get distracted by me being a ghost. So I thought that was really cool how, the cloud, sorry, I have a bad habit of chewing my nails. The cloud looked like fire. That's super cool. You don't see that. It's like the burning bush. You don't see that every day. So when these people are seeing this cloud that looks like fire, they're like, I would hope at least that they're like, whoa, this is wild. This is God here. He's here with us right now. And they followed what God told them to do. When they were told to settle, they settled. When they were told to go, they went. And I thought that was super cool. And that was in Numbers 9, by the way. And then in Numbers 10, I thought something that was interesting. Moses was basically talking to Hobab, I think that's how you say it, Hobab, son of Reubenel, the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law. So Moses is like, yeah, we're going to look for a place. We're setting out for a place that the Lord said that he will give us. Come with us and we will treat you well, and the Lord has promised good things in Israel. And he answered no, and that he's going back to his own people. And I thought that was interesting, how he just is like, no, I'm not going to go back to, I'm not going to go to this place that God is saying is going to be awesome. Oh, sorry, I was reading something, making sure it was actually working. Is my audio working? I hope it is. Because I don't see any little thingies, indicating that it is. Let me just refresh this real quickly. I'm gonna hear my own voice for a split second, which will be weird, but it's whatever. I just want to make sure that my voice is actually being. Okay. It's there. Okay. I got a little concerned because I didn't see that the audio was moving at all. Anyway, I thought that was really interesting how he just was like, no, I'm going to go back to my people. When Moses was saying there's this great, experience, you're going to be able to find freedom and happiness, and God's going to protect you in this land that he promised for them. Now I'm going to look at John 5, 1 through 18. And it was super cool. I remember hearing this story when I was a kid about Jesus went to this place with a ton of crippled people. Crippled sounds bad. A lot of disabled people. Sorry, some versions they say crippled, some versions say disabled. But there's some disabled people, like the blind, the lame. I don't know what that means. The paralyzed, and one had been an invalid. I don't know how you say it, for 38 years. And Jesus saw him there, so he couldn't walk. He couldn't walk basically. And Jesus learned that he had this condition for a long time and was like, do you want to get well? And he said, no one will help me into the pool, because this pool where this water is being stirred is supposedly supposed to help people to heal and get better. And whenever this guy tries to like go into the pool, he gets basically walked on top of, and someone goes in ahead of him. I don't mean that literally, like walk on top of him. But Jesus said to him, get up, pick up your mat and walk. And the man did this, and he was able to walk again. Like Jesus just commanded he would be like, that he would be healed, and he was, which is super, super cool. Sorry, I'm just like, I'm currently recording a day in the life, and I was recording my camera, so, anyway, I'm getting off topic. And this took place on the Sabbath, the day where you're not supposed to do work, you're supposed to just rest. And, this didn't settle nicely with some of the Jewish leaders. And they're like, this is a Sabbath. The law forbids you to lift your mat, because you weren't supposed to do any work at all. Like, not even like, let's say, not even lighting a light, like cutting on a light switch. You weren't supposed to do anything on the Sabbath. And he replied, the man who made me well said to me, pick up your mat and walk. He was just like, this guy told me to walk, and I walked. So, like, that's wild. Like, why should this be like an issue? And the man had no idea that this Jesus had healed him, because Jesus just slipped away into the crowd. I'm sorry. Anything, and you just hear me randomly talking, but I just want to make sure that this is getting out. Anyway, the Jewish leaders, that it was Jesus who had made him well. Jesus was doing this stuff on Sabbath. The Jewish leaders began to persecute him. Like, think about this. These are Jewish leaders. They follow God. They follow God. The same God that's the father of Jesus. They follow God. And they're trying to persecute the Son of God for working on the Sabbath, which is wild. And in what Jesus said in defense, he said, my Father is always at his work to this very day, and I too am working. Basically saying that God is always working in our lives, which is super true. And God's always working to like bring people to him, encourage us and stuff like that. And then these Jewish leaders, they had the nerve to try to kill him more. Like they found more. They're like, oh wow, this guy gotta get killed. He's gotta get killed. And the reason why they wanted to kill him is because not only was he breaking the Sabbath, but he was even calling God his own father, making himself equal with God. So like, these people aren't the brightest. They kind of are. They're thinking that Jesus is being disrespectful for God, when in the New Testament we are all sons and daughters of God. We're not equal to him. We're in no way equal to him, but we are the sons and daughters of God. And so for them to be like, you're not an equal with God, you can't help to say that he's your father, that's pretty wild. Because in the New Testament, Jesus, of course, they live in the Old Covenant, obviously. But like, Jesus says that we're all sons and daughters of God. And these Jewish leaders want to persecute him because he is the Son of God, which is wild. Okay, now I'm going to read about Psalm 27. So I really like the first verse. It was, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? I'm just going to read it, okay? It's really good stuff, so I'm just going to read it. The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked advance against me to devour me, it is my enemies and my foes who will stumble and fall. Through an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Through oh my gosh, my brain's not, I'm a little wild right now, a little wacky right now. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I'll be confident. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. For in the day of trouble he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his sacred tent and set me high upon a rock. Then my head will be exalted above the enemies who surround me at his sacred tent. At his sacred tent I will sacrifice with shouts of joy. I will sing and make music to the Lord. Hear my voice when I call, Lord, but be merciful to me and answer me. My heart says of you, seek his face. Your face, Lord, I will seek. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my helper. Do not reject me or forsake me, God my Savior. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. Teach me your ways, Lord. Lead me in a straight path because of my oppressors. Do not turn over the desire of my foes, for false witnesses rise up against me, spouting malicious accusations. I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and take heart, and wait for the Lord. Woo! That's a lot. That's a lot of good stuff and true stuff, and just something that it's a lot of stuff that we need to recognize. And I just love seeing how David adored God. He adored God so much, and I feel like we don't adore God as much in the same way that we should, that Daniel has. I mean, not Daniel, David, that David has. That's why it's like so wild. Like how he has all these psalms where he's talking about God and his relationship with God. He's just speaking to God. And we get to read about what he has to say to God. And I think we can really take some lessons from David and learn to just really learn to love God in the way that David did. I would definitely, I don't know, I'm trying to think of what to say. I feel like this psalm really was focusing on how the Lord is our Savior, and we can put our trust in him, and we don't have to be afraid when we have him. And I love how he was asking the Lord. He was asking God he was asking God if he could dwell in the house of the Lord in all the days of his life, and so that he could gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. David was a man after God, which is super inspiring. And I want to be more I want to seek God more like David did. He's saying how when God will protect us, when I guess I don't know how you'd call it, the reckoning, the revelation, whatever, however you want to word it, when the end comes, where Jesus returns to the earth, he knows that Jesus will keep him safe and will exalt us and bring us to heaven if we believe in him. And also, when we believe in God, I feel like there's an extra pep in our step. My church, I noticed we did this 21 days of prayer, which was, I didn't watch it all, but I've seen a lot of clips from it and stuff like that. And I think after the 21 days of prayer that we had in January, it really just changed what we were doing in our church. I don't know. I feel like there was so much that we were doing in our church afterwards. The worship team has an extra pep in their step. They're dancing. They're truly rejoicing. Like David says, to sing and make music to the Lord. And how I feel like my church has been really seeking the Lord the way that David was seeking the Lord. And it's just really inspiring to see all these different people really strengthening their faith through worship, and even all the pastors, Pastor Brandon, which is the pastor for the church. He's been on fire recently. My youth pastor, he's been on fire. KJ is his name. When my campus pastor, because we have two campuses on my church, when he Yeah, we have like one in Richmond and one in like Chesterfield. When the campus pastor, when he spoke his when he did a special like lesson, a sermon, he was on fire. Like everyone has just been so on fire, and I think that's something we need in this world. We need to have fire and passion for Christ. And like we have this thing called First Wednesday, where every first Wednesday of the month, instead of youth group, there's like a special speaker of some sort and stuff that everyone goes to. And the speaker, I didn't hear the whole sermon, but I heard parts of it, and my dad told me some about it. The guy that was speaking, he was basically saying how he'd rather be a person of passion than a person of like knowing how to do what they're doing. Like he'd rather be someone that's passionate about what they're doing, even if they're not the best at it, than someone who's like an expert at what they're doing but shows no passion in what they're doing. And I think that's so true. Like I think in our church and in our society today, we just need to have the passion for God that we haven't been having. I think with all the bad in the world that we have, that takes us away from the good of the world and takes us away from God and focusing on Him and learning to love Him and rejoice in Him and rejoice in the good things. And I'm getting fired up. Like when I started like talking about my devotional every night, that's really like fired me up personally, because it's just I'm able to talk and like teach about God, and I feel like that's something I really want to do. I just want to teach about God, like because there's a lot of different like I think a lot of different people have different like things that they're supposed to do in life for God, and some might be like telling sermons and preaching and stuff, and some it might be like serving, and I feel like mine is just teaching. I don't know, teaching other people about God and like showing my passion for God and hoping that other people will seek the same passion and find that same passion for God that I have found recently. And what I really like, my favorite part of this whole psalm was when David said this, Psalm 27:13. I remain confident of this. I will seek the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. And that second part was 14. So like I think that really kind of like speaks to what I've been trying to say, for us to recognize the goodness of God and focus on the goodness of God. And of course you might think I'm like, if you watch my other live streams, you might think I'm repeating myself, but I don't know, I just can't stress it enough. It's so important to just focus on the goodness of God, especially in this world that's crazy and has a lot of conflict in it, good and bad. I mean, it's mainly bad conflict that we recognize that divides us. And I think that a real way to bring unity among all the division is to show your love and kindness to people, even if you're not like directly preaching about God, just like sharing the love that Jesus shares with the sinners and this, back in the New Testament. And that verse also reminded me of Psalm 27:13. It's like, and I will wait the goodness of God. So yesterday I quoted a lyric from a song, and today I'm gonna do it again. Let me see. My daily devotional. Can I talk with you? Good night. Love you. Love you too.
Do you go ahead and kiss two buns?
Oh my goodness. Do you want food or you want attention?
Yeah, I've been live streaming music talking about my devotional.
Oh. I might need buddy therapy tomorrow after school.
All right. They won't out. They were out yesterday.
No. Nothing out yet.
Good night, Mom.
Yes. Are you coming with me, Allie?
I think she's saying. All right, the one person watching, thank you for staying through. Anyway, what I was going to say is there's a song called Goodness of God by Bethel Music and Jen Johnson. And this verse just reminded me. It says, I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. And it continues on, like, all my life you've been faithful and you've been so, so good. You've led me through the fire and the darkness. And in the darkest night, you're close like no other. And I don't know, it's just a really good. And then it continues on. Oh, I'm going to sing of the goodness of God. I'm going to sing all my life you have been faithful. And then this last part, with every breath that I am able, oh, I'm going to sing of the goodness of God. I don't know, that just really, I thought of that song when I read this song. And that's all I got. I hope whoever watches this gets something out of it. And, I don't know. I feel like I say this every time. I want people to find God. That's all I want. So, without further ado, guys, or guy or gal or whoever is watching, good night.